Hello, Sagittarius. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for being patient as I was getting all of my cards written this morning. I was also picking the deck that I needed to pick for you guys, and there was just a lot. I do some research before I get started, just so you know, what's he doing? Whenever I get my the totems that come to me, sometimes there's more research that I have to do. And yours today, there was like 3 different parts, and I had to kind of like just trim it a bit. I was like, all right, this is enough. So I have enough to talk to you about what was coming through in spirit, which was a lot. We have the element of fire coming through, which makes a lot of sense for you. And I see a lot of movement and change, creation, for some of you release. So this is going to be a really interesting reading to see how you choose to work with that element of change and transformation. So I'm glad you joined today. I think some great guidance and information will be coming forth, and we're going to make it a great day because of that. So let me introduce myself. First of all, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be reading for the sign of Sagittarius. You can use these readings for any placement in your chart if you happen to know your full astrological chart. Specifically, they're really great for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. But again, if you're well versed and you know exactly where everything is placed, feel free to use it in that respect. You can watch on behalf of someone else. You can also just come to any of these readings if you need guidance, because I am clairvoyant and I do pick up on things that basically anyone that's going to be watching this might benefit from. So whatever reason you're here, welcome. Let me talk a little bit about the process and then we'll get started. Apollo is sleeping underneath there, so when he comes out later, I'll pull him up and he can say hi, but I like to respect his boundaries and his desire to just rest sometimes, so he's snoozing under the chair. The way that this is organized, by the way, is in 4 major parts, 4 or 5. We start with the channeled messages. That's what I was doing before I got started here, and it's basically my dreams, meditations, and also the act of automatic writing brings through additional insights. So I put all of that together here at the beginning. It's basically a psychic download. Then we'll use the cards to get a little bit deeper and see some additional insights. And after we do that, we will expand the forecast. I like to let the first Celtic or the Celtic Cross just sort of take on whatever energy it wants to. So sometimes it's more related to personal growth, maybe it's relationships in your life, but it's not always the same thing. It basically depends on where you're being taken this month. Then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny to make sure that we highlight those areas that I know everybody cares about. And then we'll go a little deeper in the soul path and find maybe 1 or 2 of the areas where you might see growth or potential resistance. And I'll try to help you through that because we have the time to do that. And then after that, we will meditate. And the very close is something new, which is I will answer a question that you silently ask me. And much like pick a card, you can kind of just send that out, but you don't have to pick which card it is. So just send me the question and it's a little bit more expedient and it works just fine. So that's the general structure for today. I want to welcome everyone. Great to see 111 people here, a magical number. So welcome everyone. Maria will be helping with moderation today. So if you have any high-level questions, let her know. And let me talk a little bit about how Super Chat works here. If you like what you see and you like the decks that I'm using, a way to continue to support me so that I can do more readings. I'm doing 3 extra ones now this year, and I didn't used to do that. That's through your support. So you can do that by, if you'd like to, you can give a Super Chat. You can also join. So in this area, you have a chance to join the channel or give a sticker or Super Chat. I don't answer a question with that, but it is just a way to say thank you. A free way to do it is to hit the thumbs up, to support the channel, I should say, is to hit the thumbs up or to subscribe. Both of those are really valuable and they make a difference with discovery and engagement, something that YouTube cares about. I know maybe we don't, but it's important for the health of the channel. So if you can do any of the above, thank you. It's all optional. This is here as a resource. So however you want to give back, the more you give, the more I give, basically. All right, let's get into your messages for today. Let me get my glasses on so I can see everything. And let's get started. All right, so I begin with usually a nature totem and something that comes to me in dreams. Sometimes as I'm walking my little dog, which like I said, he's hiding right now, but your totem today was a volcano. And fire in and of itself as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of gods of fire as they throw the card across the room. So we have Hephaestus and Pele were the two gods that I wanted to talk about. The equivalent in Roman mythology would be Vulcan, so same god. So we're going to talk a little bit about volcanoes. One really interesting thing about volcanoes is it's not something that's solely on this planet. So if we go to like the moon Io, for instance, this one is really kind of completely, the surface of it is sort of like marked by all the volcanism here. So that's beautiful, really cool to see that it's not just something that's on Earth, it's in the solar system, it's on other planets. This is a plate tectonic and a sort of core related energy, which is cool. We'll be talking about the core today as well. And one of the interesting things, I remember this because I geeked out in college and took some extra like classes in geology just because I thought it was really cool. But you can kind of see how along these plates in the center of the ocean, that's basically where a lot of this happens. It's beneath the surface. So yes, we see volcanoes. Yes, there's places like, some of the national parks where you can see geysers and hints of this internal sort of energy, this mechanism that makes all the plates move. But a lot of it happens beneath the surface, which is also a metaphor for the emotional change and the changes that are happening within us. So as I was just saying, the majority of the volcanic activity happens along those lines in the ocean. There are these continental plates, most of us know this at this point, that are sliding around slowly. Some of them go underneath. Some of them kind of jut up above. Some, like the Himalayas, go together. And so you can kind of have 2 or 3 different ways that energy can move. And along some of these plates, that's where the volcanic activity happens. There's also hotspots and the Hawaiian Islands. That's why I wanted to talk a little bit about Pele, because we can't look at volcanism and not see Hawaii as an example of that. So there can also be these jets that kind of come up through the ocean floor and create something beautiful like that. So in effect, we're seeing these opposing forces today coming through for your sign, fire and water. And they work together in an act of creation and destruction. And they're also very creative and destructive forces as well. Because even if we didn't have the two of them coming together, water, we need it. It brings us life. Every organism on this planet in some way, shape, or form needs water to survive. But it can also create a flood. It can also come through as a tsunami. There can be crazy things that happen as a result of the water. Fire, the same thing. We need it to create tools. It's an element to keep us warm, but it can burn things down. So these are forces of creation and destruction. No wonder the ancient societies kind of attributed them to gods, because it was something out of our control. It felt supernatural. But today, my message for you is you're going to be able to harness both of these. Mutable fire, you can kind of get in there, you can mold it, you can change it. So the message this month is to channel, control, understand, forge what you want in the next months ahead. I would say it's not just the next 6 to 8 weeks, which is what this forecast is normally for. It's actually, I would say, for this next half year, it's about rebuilding. And isn't that in a great sort of way what this year is really about? We came from a destructive and a sort of like reconstructive year, 2020, everything fell apart. It was the tower. And now this is like tower reversed, or it could be the fool. It could be anything you want it to. It's a new beginning. It's a new page. Let's talk a little bit about the two gods that came through. And I wanted to get divine masculine and feminine. So we're going to start with Hephaestus, also known as Vulcan. And again, god of fire, god of creation. There were some interesting things when I looked into his back history. I could just teach a whole class on mythology, so I'm not going to. I try to pick the key elements, so don't worry. I know I've missed a lot, but I look through for the things that are going to make the most sense for your sign. The things that I liked about him, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Athena, because these two gods were really, really smart and skillful, and they passed along those skills. So in many ways and shapes, they're similar in that you may be inspired this month to teach, to learn, to kind of develop skills, because Hephaestus had to kind of do all of that. He wasn't the most popular of the gods, not originally anyway. So anyway, your skills are going to play a big role. That was the first thing that I saw. He was resourceful. He was hands-on. It could be, like I said, a great time to go to school, develop a skill, finish something that you started. And then one thing that I really liked is he reminded me a little bit of like Eight of Cups, which is a door that's left open, sometimes a return, sometimes even a redemption, second chance. He was cast off Mount Olympus because he wasn't the most beautiful of children. And of course, the gods couldn't have someone that wasn't perfect. So I think it was Hera that cast him from Olympus. If I'm off on that, forgive me, but I'm pretty sure that was it. It was his mother that threw him off the mountain. But he ended up growing up and was outgrew that. But then there was some, basically there's a lot of baggage that comes from that. Hey, Apollo. And so what we want to look at this month are power dynamics between you and other people, and then also this ability to disprove some sort of a projection, illusion, fear, or something that they have about you. So sometimes we look at something and we think we know everything that's there, but it's a lot deeper. So Hephaestus reminds us that just because something starts one way doesn't mean that it's going to always be that way. Also, you can underestimate or misjudge something just like his mother and the gods did. And you can also come back and prove your own strength, your own ability, even in the face of disbelief. So he's a strong god. He's smart. He found his way from exile back to Mount Olympus and was one of the creative sort of energies there. So I think that's very cool. There's a lot to like. Like every god, they're all deeply flawed. You could go and look at all of their stories. This is what I kind of like about Greek and Roman mythology. There was no perfect god or goddess. So I'm not putting him on a pedestal at all. I'm just sort of highlighting some of the things that will help you because there were other things that he did and all the gods did that was not great. But when you're looking at the survival and survivability, this is something that's really cool. You can bounce back. I like that as well. There may be a chance or a need for you to focus a little bit on maternal healing this month, particularly like Empress reverse situations. This could be a boss, it could be a parent, it could be a friend in your life that tends to swoop in and want to control things. And sometimes they're like a frenemy that may not have your best interest at heart or may sort of inadvertently kind of push you into a tailspin. So this month, you're going to reclaim your fire. You're going to reclaim your power. You're going to put it to better use. And sometimes we ignore people like that and just focus instead on what we can control. That's the important thing for you this month, Sagittarius. You've got big things to do, and you don't have the time anymore to sort of like wrestle around with people that don't understand or don't support you. You can do this on your own. And that was one of the key things that I liked about this particular god. Let's now bring in the feminine piece because I like balance when I'm reading. And I thought of Pele too while I was thinking about fire. So Pele is the Hawaiian deity of fire and creation. And when I did the research, I'm glad I did, there was something really cool. I would associate her and her specifically to like death and the fool, because she is much more creative and destructive energy. She basically can, she can give and take. That's what I said. So there's the death element there. But when you read what she looks like to a bystander, if you see her walking, she can either be an old woman or a young woman that walks with a white dog. If you look at the Fool in Rider-Waite-Smith, we see a young figure walking with a dog. Much like page cards, I can imagine that the Fool would be male or female, and it sometimes is in different decks. So I see Pele as new beginnings. After the destruction, she walks around and starts to seed creation, right? So I see that both of those make sense. And like death, which I could imagine as any energy, and in my book it could be male or female or genderless. I think that, and like time itself, sometimes the fates, you would see the different ages, right? So that's why the old woman and the young girl as well, death and creation. So very cool energy coming through with Pele. So I think for some of you, this is a new page, it's a new start. Yes, there may have been something that happened last year or this year where you lost something, someone, or you feel like a piece of you has changed. Yes, it did, so that you can start this new journey, so that you can take the journey of the Fool through the major arcana again. So at the end of one door is a new beginning. So you walk through one, you go through another one. So it's a portal basically. So that's why I kind of like death as a symbol. It's so much more complex. Neil Gaiman wrote he basically wrote the story, and then there was other artists that came in and illustrated. But the Sandman, the Endless, he casts death as a woman, which I thought was really cool, like a young sort of goth-looking girl. So I think that there is a divine feminine energy also to death that sometimes gets missed, and that's why I wanted to pull that in here. So we have the creative kind of formation energy that we have with Hephaestus, and then we have this receptive sort of transformational new beginning energy that came through with Pele. Death can be both. Creation and destruction are very much compatible energies. So if you find yourself at either end of this equation, just know that you can keep going, you can keep moving. All right, let's move on to the next piece. So this came through dreams. Another way that I get information for each sign, I basically will intend to receive and see what I pick up on. So this one was a little bit, sometimes when I am a bystander in a dream, it can make me nervous. This one made me a little nervous because I saw someone driving fast and kind of like going off the road really quickly and then off on these trails and places that I didn't know where they were going. There were people in the car as well. And eventually they did a U-turn and didn't go all the way back to the beginning, but found their way like halfway to the sort of like this middle point. And I felt better then because I'm like, we need to stop this driving. I think that exploration is really good, but you do need to have an idea of where you're going, what you're looking for at the very least, and then also some understanding for who you're bringing along on this ride. So if there's anyone in your life that is a little reckless right now, I didn't even put this in the cards, but I'm kind of going off script because we'll go card by card at the midpoint. I want you to be mindful of maybe not getting on that train or in that car with them, because I saw someone that was kind of veering off path. For yourself, I think that this is okay to kind of explore. Like I said, exploration is good, but you do need to pick a direction. And it's okay to kind of go back and retrace your tracks a little bit just to sort of make sure that you've done everything right. Eventually, you're going to need to pick a direction and plant some roots. So I think what's going to help you this month is also to ground yourself in an overarching goal, purpose, or dream. We're going to talk in a moment about how powerful that can be and how you can kind of use that in an almost magical way. But if you don't know where you're going, then you're just running on empty at some point, because you're going to have to stop for gas. You're going to have to get some sleep. You're going to have to set up camp. And what I saw was someone that wasn't thinking about what was next. I'm always really intrigued when I have a one-on-one appointment with somebody and they don't know what they're trying to do. Sometimes they'll say, I don't know what I want in my life. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why this isn't happening. And I think that we all owe ourselves a chance to just slow down and basically do some soul searching and decide, what is it that I want? So what does your heart desire? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? Allow them to surface, or like what we just talked about with the volcano, they're going to find some way to come out, sometimes in a health issue if we don't figure that stuff out. I forgot to mention a couple of things, but it sits nicely with this when I was going to go into the two gods here. I think that what you can do this month is decide to channel a passion. So maybe there was something in the past that you let go of, or that you weren't given permission to do, possibly because of a paternal or maternal energy that said, that's not for you, you can't do it, you're not allowed. So channel your energy into that passion, and then use your emotion as fuel, but don't be beholden to the emotion, basically. This is where you can mute the fire. You can, like a metal worker, like Hephaestus, you can sit there and mold it. So take the passion, take the energy, and put it into something. Take some steps to make the goals happen. It's nice to have goals, but if you don't do something to make them happen, they're just dreams that sit on a shelf. And calculated risks are okay, but the key thing is to calculate how much you're willing to put into it. And also to kind of figure out, like, where did this come about? Is this something that I just sort of, is it on a whim, or is this something that I'm really invested in? I talked yesterday to Scorpio about how far would you go for your dream, or for what you're doing right now. Let's just put it into like a job or a relationship. To what ends would you go to protect or to establish whatever it is that you have or want to have? If you wouldn't go anywhere, it's probably time to release it. If you are really attached to that and would do anything, then you know you're on the right path. As we were talking about the resourcefulness of particularly like Hephaestus, I would say use what you've been given and make something greater of it. When life gives you manure, use it as fertilizer to create growth, to bring something better. So even if things aren't great, you have the power to create this month. You are kind of pulling in this divine masculine, divine feminine, goddess, God energy that will allow you to do both. I think that for many of you, this is time to reboot. Think of the Matrix movies where at the very beginning, Neo was just learning things. And do you remember when they would take, I think they were even using discs at the time because it was old school. It was like late 90s, early 2000s. But they were like, all right, put the program in there. And then all of a sudden he learned how to fly a plane or something like that, or he knew jujitsu. It would be great if it was that easy for us, right? But what we could think of mentally right now is that I'm going to change this program up. This one hasn't been suiting me, or I want to take this piece out and rewrite this code. Speaking intentions are really important, and how you define yourself. What my guides asked me to ask you is, who are you? If I was interviewing you today and I would say, tell me about yourself. What are you doing now? What do you want to be? Why are you here? Imagine that you're on an interview, but with like your higher self or with the creator, and you have the ability to start to chart a course, because you always have that chance, FYI. So start to speak your intention into existence in a positive way. You could think of yourself as a producer, as a mother, as a teacher, or whatever. And then say that every day. I am a powerful teacher capable of doing this. I'm a powerful healer and I'm going to do this, this, and this. Speak it like a spell, an incantation, or literally a mantra. As you start to program this thought into your energy, it becomes a truth. It becomes something that other people start to pick up on. It's not just a little prayer anymore. It's actually something that you're making happen, especially if you take steps towards the goal. Baby steps. Things happen one step at a time. So if you don't know the answer to the question, then your homework assignment is this. I want you to think in your meditations. So forget about zenning out. Just kind of soul search a little bit. Think about, what do I want to be now? What do I want to be when I quote unquote grow up? And what is that going to look like to other people? What is it going to feel like to me? And then how can I start this journey? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to talk to a mentor? Do I just need to take a chance? Do I work on something and then see what people think? Whatever. Everybody's first step is going to look a little bit different, but I want you to give yourself a chance to explore, to have some fun. And unlike your parents or teachers or whatever, or Hera up on Mount Olympus, I'm not looking at you now for who you are. I'm looking at you, what you can be. And that's what we're going to look at today. So this is a safe place of creation, of exploration, of empowerment. And that's what we're going to do today, okay? So quick mini review here. Again, you have the energy of fire and water, water being your passionate side, fire being that expressive part of you, part of your sign, that you can kind of create something new, something exciting. The other piece of this is the ability to start anew, which we looked at with Pele a little bit, especially the way she looks. She kind of reminds me of the Fool. Having a direction is going to be so important, because then you can channel more effectively. You're not just driving erratically. And then speaking and thinking in a creative way, like I see this as a possibility, rather than critical, rather than destructive, rather than self-doubt kind of entering into this, or even, if you're kind of making fun of yourself. We're not going to have any of that now. We're going to be very supportive and very imaginative and very active. So I'm going to stack up all of these cards and we'll review them at the midpoint. So if you missed anything, don't worry. You can also follow me across social media, because I will post all of these within a day on Instagram, Facebook, the community tab here on YouTube, and also on my website. So if you haven't followed me yet, then please take a look at those different platforms. And for the person who's asking about soul searching, just stick around, because we actually look at the soul path. And, when you're soul searching, it's just dreaming. It's just a chance for you to just, like, when we're kids, we're naturally connected to our dreams. We're taught that they're unattainable by parents and teachers. So soul searching is not something that I need to teach you about. You have it. You already know who you are, or you have an idea like, this is something that I want to do, or I don't like this person. I don't like this. I like this. Go to those inner likes and dislikes. Soul searching is just listening to yourself. So listen to yourself this month in your meditations and see what you say to you. I can't tell you what you want, but I can show you what energy is coming through for you, and that's what we're going to do now. All right. So I'm going to remain quiet while I do this. I'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. Just let me lay out all the cards. And again, you can watch this for sun, rising, and moon. This forecast can be used for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and everybody's welcome here. Yeah, a lot of times when I talk to clients, I am surprised at how complicated they make that question, like, who are you or what do you want to be? I would just kind of say, like, what do you like? What are your dreams? What are your passions? And let those be your starting points. I can't tell you, you can tell you though. We're just going to look at what's available here now. All right. I'm using Prisma Visions today because it kind of has cool energy of fire and water in it. And it looks a little dreamy. Thanks so much for those of you that just gave super stickers, super chat. I appreciate it. Ha! All right, we got our volcano. Second to get everything set up. That's funny when that happens. I didn't even know that deck had it, but that's cool. This, by the way, came into your energy, the energy of your emotions. So we'll talk about this. And I think this is really important to figure out how to channel and use the emotional energy this month, so that you're basically controlling it and channeling it and making the most of it. But we'll talk here in just a second. Let's begin with the catalyst. All right, so your catalyst card was reversed. We have Lord Ganesha here. The color of this is very much the heart chakra, a little bit of maybe solar plexus coming in here as well. The card says wholeness on it, and we are focusing also on that heart center, which is why everything is all green around this as well. So how are you emotionally feeling this month? It's going to be so important to take into account your mental health, and I would say your emotional health, because that's going to affect everything else in your life. Lord Ganesha is known for overcoming obstacles, so we could just look at this as how to get past something that blocks you. So there is definitely a connection between the volatility that we see in the health card here and this heart-centric wholeness card. So this month, if you can get your emotional and mental health in a good space, everything's going to flourish, because this is also the color of abundance. And then again, we have a little bit of power, because I see a little bit of yellow around this, and there's already a little bit of yellow in the green. So anyway, I feel like heart-centric decisions are going to be very important. Do something that is loving, is nurturing, is supportive for you and for others. Take care of your emotional self this month. Take time for you. Nurture yourself. That was a message I definitely talked to Scorpio about, and it overflows into yours as well. And I think that's going to be the most important things that I take away from that. It also says wholeness. So I want you to look at the big picture, how everything factors in. Sometimes we focus on one little thing, and it can make you feel like the world is topsy-turvy. So this is saying, take a step back, look at the big picture. To work on your heart space, one of the first things you can do is like focus on personal forgiveness. It's hard to forgive others, but we should start with ourselves. So if you've made any decisions that you're not particularly happy or proud about, you can look at trying to turn them into something better. So what have you learned from mistakes in your life? What will you be able to avoid because of a certain experience? If you can start to cast it in a new light with gratitude, like, thank God I did that when I was younger, because now I won't do it now. Or thank goodness, I got through that relationship. Everything's going to be easy peasy after this. Or I'm so glad that I finally decided to take care of myself and leave that toxic work environment, because now I will appreciate, what I have. Even if I have to work hard, it's better than that. So look at the things that you can just recast them. Imagine that you're a writer and you're typing up your manuscript and you're thinking, I want this to be a happier ending. I want this character to have a better arc. So do it for yourself. I'm actually not the villain. I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to be able to get through this. So love yourself, and then imagine that you could do the same for other people. You could see their transformation, their metamorphosis. So put a little bit of that Pele energy so that they can grow and transform as well. All right, let's go to your center cards. We have the Queen of Wands right at the center. I love Queen of Wands because she's definitely the boss card. I like to refer to her as that. And I like Queen energy when it comes to court cards because they walk that nice line of leadership and creation. Sometimes the king cards can be a little bit more entitled or a little bit more waiting for things to happen, where the queens tend to be a little bit more active just because of where they're at in the hierarchy and because they're divine feminine. So you have the ability to lead others, to get your own life in order as well. And this is also an encouragement for you to do just that. So when was the last time you took a look at your finances, your health, the house, making sure that everything's okay in your house or apartment? Get organized in your life. Pretend that you are, your own accountant, your own personal organizer, your own personal trainer. Take care of you and manage your life better, and first and foremost. And that's going to be the most important thing that I would say. Also, the Queen of Wands she's the sorceress, if I had to pick one of all of the different queens, because she can take the limited resources and do something really cool with them. And she's you, by the way, too. So we've got the Queen of Fire here coming through to kind of help you create. But if we look at her typically on a Rider-Waite-Smith card, you would see that she's in the desert, but there's still things growing around her. We see the black cat. She's mystical. She's magical. So the only limits that are really coming through for you are the ones that you place on yourself. So don't limit yourself in thoughts. When you have a dream, always think of it as this or greater than, rather than a less than sort of energy, and that's going to help you. You have a very attractive countering card for this, or tempering card here. We have the Lovers, and to me, this is like a gigantic magnet. And what I see with the two of these is something that's really attractive, actually. So this is thoughts and ideas, and this is the ability to bring other people into that. Notice how this, when we see people dancing. So you can actually get people into your energy and get them working with you, for you, around you. You have the ability to do that. But there is a leadership. You should be leading this dance if we were to bring the two of these together, right? So be the leader, have some fun, allow it to be creative. And like dances, there are times where you're just kind of like improvising too, unless it's some ballroom dancing. But usually with dancing, you're listening, you're moving with your partner, you're moving with the music. So there's a flexibility with this Lovers card, and you don't have to do this alone, whatever this is. And the Lovers doesn't have to just be love, like romantic love in your life. This could be your ability to have a great partner, a good friend, a good doctor, a good advocate in your life. So I see, again, the attractive partnership energy being essential to your success this month. And yes, love could be coming in for you. And we'll take a look and see how that might be. The Queen of Wands is really you. So one of the things that you want to think about is, what do I want? That's why at the very end, I was asking you, if someone asked you to make a wish, what would it be? Who would you be? Who would you be looking for in your life? And if someone was interviewing you and saying, who are you? How would you identify yourself? And hopefully it would be in positive sort of words. Sometimes, oh, I'm just this, or I'm doing this for now. I want you to think about who you are and what you're becoming. It's a lot more interesting than what you think you are or what you're lacking. All right, guess what? We have the Fool here in the deep past, which made a lot of sense because I saw it when I was thinking of Pele. So from an end comes a new beginning. And we see the 0 because this is the only card that has no Roman numeral at the top. It's just a 0. So you have a chance to begin again, to begin anew. And this Fool card has the ocean underneath it, a little bit different than the traditional one. But because we're talking about fire and water today, this is telling you where to go, which is into the emotional, creative depths of your soul and think, well, what else can I do? Why not just swim around a little bit? Why not dance around a little bit? Let's just see what's possible. Don't overthink, move, try, dream. And again, for that person that was saying, how do I soul search? How do you dream? It's the same thing. You just allow yourself to think about what's possible. We oftentimes think in a very reductive way. I can't, I won't, I shouldn't. We think in the framework of shame, of fear, of doubt. And so I don't take all of that and hammer it away like Hephaestus. Let that stuff go. What you really want to be focusing on right now is possibilities. So don't limit yourself. That's what I would say. All right, let's take a look at the next card. I have a few decks that have bonus cards in it, and this is one of them. So this card has a question mark on it, which is what's possible. And we have a little tiny elephant right in the background there. It's called Tiny Elephants. And guess what? We're working with the god of removing boundaries or removing any obstacles in your life, Ganesha. Everything starts with little steps, with those beginnings. And it looks to me in the background like it could be, you know, a volcanic eruption. It could be a sunrise. It could be anything you want because this is sort of like an impressionistic deck. So yeah, why not think of something bigger, greater, and use that energy again to create? Take a first step towards that. You may be like the little baby elephant, getting your footing, trying to find your bearings, because that's what I saw when I was I wanted to take the wheel and help you drive. So take that first step and believe that a barrier that you had before is going to go away. Ganesha doesn't believe in those blocks. It gives you the tools that you need to get past them. And in this case, you're going to let your heart just go there. Let your heart go in the direction that it wants to, and take a chance, because who knows? There are certain things that when you start to enact enough free will, you kind of throw the system into a reboot. So there are some things that you can do that even surprise yourself. So surprise yourself, surprise others. We have the Queen of Swords in the crowning position. And let me just take a quick look at the other cards. So this is the other, yeah, this is the main court card that came through. So if you're looking for love, they may come in the form of a Queen of Swords. I like that we have two queens, by the way. I don't read gender, I read sort of energy with them. So these are two evenly matched people. Queen of Wands, like I said, this is you. You can put anything that you can do anything that you put your mind to. But the Queen of Swords is someone that can kind of like move mountains with words. They're very charismatic, and it is communication style and action. I like the action with this person. So if you're pulling someone new as a business partner, friend, or love interest into your life, they have the ability to take your idea and execute on it. So like producer type energy or project manager type energy, or basically just like hands-on. This is a very good addition to your ideation. Just make sure that it's an equal relationship, but I like what I see here so far. As an aspect of your personality, because this doesn't have to be about love, I just went there for a second. Queen of Swords is where your head should be. It's in the crowning situation here, crowning position. So I want you to think in an elevated way. She's upright. When she's reversed, sometimes she has to get real and say things that are difficult, but when she's upright, you can basically just use your communication to say what you want. You're going to use your words well. You're going to be able to pull people in, even if you don't feel like you're an orator, a writer, or very articulate. It doesn't always matter. What matters is, can they feel what you're feeling? That's what makes the difference between like a good actor or singer and someone who is just saying lines. So you can have someone with like a rocky voice or off tune a little bit, but they're crying, they're in it. You can kind of feel like, I'll think of Janis Joplin for instance. Her voice wasn't perfect, but her delivery was singular. So because of the way she delivered her message, a lot of people looked at her and thought, wow, that's amazing. So you don't have to have perfection, because sometimes perfection is it's hard to touch. It's something we can't reach. But when someone's a little bit raw or real, all of a sudden it's relatable. So just be real, be yourself, be something that someone else isn't. be you and use your voice and actions to authentically exude that energy, okay? If you've ever thought of writing something or doing public speaking, now is the time, especially with that in the crowning position. You're well positioned to be received. We have the Two of Wands here in the near future, and I believe we got the Three of Wands here in opportunities. So this is the idea, like, I know what I want, I'm making the plans, I'm putting it together. So a little bit more focus on the planning, and I agree with this card being reversed, because when that person was erratically driving, I just wanted them to have like a GPS or a map or a clue where they were. So I think for you, the metaphor is saying, the more you know, the more you're comfortable with that point on the horizon, which is, by the way, a lot of times why you will see it can be a globe or it can be this. This is kind of illustrating that I can see what I want. If it's a globe, it's sort of like, that's the point that I want to go to. So when you look at the Two of Wands, that's why they're holding that. It's sort of like to keep them clear and present on what they want. And then the other two wands are setting things in motion. So that's what you should be doing right now, is planning, visualizing, and taking the steps necessary to bring something into fruition, with the understanding that, guess what? We have the Three of Wands here in opportunities, and we see this one just flowering away. So it's going to be okay. And you're going to see that within the next 1 to 3 months, you're going to start to see some progress happening. All right, let's focus now on your ego this month. We have the Emperor card. I mentioned about like reclaiming your power, and this Emperor is upright, so I like that. And for some of you, there may have been an Empress reversed in the past that sort of took energy or took fire. And when we think of Hera in the sort of the story of Hephaestus, that's kind of what happened there, was someone cast away someone that they were afraid of or ashamed of. So in this moment, I just want you to own your power, to be proud of who you are. And if anyone ever lacked the vision to see your potential, they need to come to you. There needs to be sort of this understanding that I could have done better. I didn't have the capacity. I'm sorry I didn't see that. There's so many ways that this could be coming out or playing out for some of you. It could even just be sort of like like if you declared that you wanted to do something with your life, not go to school, marry someone, not marry someone. Maybe you came out and your parents didn't support you, whatever it was. This card is basically saying you had to stand up for yourself and your truth, and you succeeded, and it's in your ego and it's upright, and I'm proud of you. So be proud of yourself and allow that other person to come back to you. It's their turn to sort of see you for who you are. We have the Tower. Not surprised. We have the Fool, we have the Tower. We have a lot of the cards that we were gonna, we have the Volcano. It's all here today for you. But the Tower reversed is basically what we were talking about this year being. Rebuilding, reclamation. This particular tower is by the water. You can see the sun rising. It's a brand new day. We sort of see a tree here kind of falling off the edge. But when I look at a Tower card, for me, it is about rebuilding. So a different way that I would look at it is to, again, take the materials from what we had from 2020 and think, what is it that I want to, what do I want more of? What do I want less of? What can I do that isn't even here in front of me? Where can I find that? It's resourcefulness, and also kind of, if you need to go out there and figure out what's missing, then create that as well. I'm not afraid of the Tower reversed. It's in the environment. It's already happened. Here's the cool thing. There's some cards that are full stops or are out of our control. Ten of Swords is a full stop. It's the end of something and the beginning of something better. The Tower reversed means that you have already started to take action on the change in your life, or you'll have no choice but to do that. So now the main message I would say for you is to surrender to the change, to surrender to the need to make change in your life, and to take an active role. So if you are working in a company and it's getting merged with another company, or they're changing the way that the company is sort of like, you know, I guess the work habits because of like the pandemic or whatever, restructuring, reorganization, be an active part of that. Say, hey, I didn't like this, or I really liked this. I want to do this instead. Speak up. If you do that, you may be surprised at what can happen. This is a very malleable time. And again, if things are falling away from you, let's say you were laid off, made redundant, or you decided to quit, good for you. If it was the latter, and if it wasn't, you're going to be okay, because something better is waiting for you. I always see rejection as protection on a cosmic scale. It doesn't feel good, but it's actually usually very good for you. So think about now, what else is out there? Where is there a more receptive energy coming through for me so that I can grow? Okay. and then plant some new roots. That's why I was getting the need for grounding, because the Tower reverse can be like a tree that's uprooted. What I like about this is it kind of reminds me of the Ten of Swords in the distance. We see a new day dawning. So you could see it as sunrise or sunset. I'm optimistic. I see it as a sunrise. So I see it as a new day rising. Even with the reverse, it means that something's almost over. So there's a renewal process coming in, whatever side you're on that. And it looks optimistic from where I'm looking here, because when I look at hopes, fears, and possibilities, we have a positive card, the Three of Wands. Typically, I mean, I like this one because it's in the night. We can see all the stars. You're using your own energy to create. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith would show 3 wands and a person either up on a hill looking at ships coming in, or sometimes down on the dock, meeting them halfway. I always like the latter, where they're kind of connecting with it. So I would say you're going to start to see a return on your energy. Go even a little bit deeper, meet someone even a little bit more than halfway, and you'll be surprised at how you could speed things up. Your final card is the Eight of Swords reverse, which is revelation, which is the curtain coming up. You're seeing the wizard behind the curtain. So this is an end of feeling trapped. It's an end of feeling like you're stuck somewhere. I like how swords is in winter in this particular deck. It kind of reminds me of Narnia. So this is the end of a sort of emotional winter for some of you. And that's why we see like this new day, this new spring coming forth, a new opportunity for you. So if we were to take the future and near future and future, just turn them upright. This is saying things are looking good and we're getting out of this feeling of being stuck. So I feel like you're headed in the right direction, Sagittarius. There's just, there's some changes that you have to go through, because we'll quickly look at this. I mean, I'm going to review it at the midpoint, but this is unknown and new. This is unknown and new. This is feeling good about it, but there's no guarantees. Eight of Swords is usually the person has blinders on. So there's sometimes not enough clarity. So what we're basically seeing here is, yes, a calculated leap of faith, and then some changes that are going to come through because of that. But everything starts off that way. All new changes kind of have that question mark. Will I be okay? Right? All right, let's get into the fun stuff. We're going to go into your expanded forecast, looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with health, which is mind, body, and spirit. And oh my goodness, we got the volcano. So let's talk about it from a health perspective. It does say volatility. I'd like you to focus on finding balance in your life right now. So emotionally speaking, this could be the tower that's happening around you. There could be a relationship or a job and you're done with it and you can't hold it in anymore. And good for you, because it needs to find a way out. This passion, this anger, this happiness, whatever it is that you're feeling, we need to find a channel for you, because volatility is showing that either your physical state or emotional state is not balanced, or you have this springing energy that's coming through that you could do something really cool with. So this could also be, I have all this passion, I have all these ideas, I need to put it into something. So you're either going to get out your metal work and start to hammer away like Hephaestus, or you're going to clear something out like Pele and say, let's start fresh, let's start anew. So a new beginning and releasing an old process and then channeling things. It is emotional, it is energetic, it is spiritual, and that is a big piece of your health card this month. If there's anything that's not in control, please go to a doctor and ask for some help, because this could also just show something that's flaring up. If you have any chronic pain, any acne, if you have any sort of just emotional issues or temper issues, all of that stuff can come through with this. When I was researching Pele, there was a lot. I'm actually curious and I want to learn more about her because she seems like a fascinating deity. But one of the things that I picked up on is she has a temper. Didn't surprise me when I was looking at, Volcano. So we want to figure out how to channel the emotions or how to deal with things that are out of our control this month. Let's look at the other cards here and see if there's any additional messages with health. I think just gentle movement in your life would be good. Swimming or walking are really nice, low impact exercises. Again, you'll have to listen to your body, listen to your doctor, but sometimes less is more. That's what we see with this. Let's see what else is coming through. Again, I think for the year that just passed us by, a lot of us were sitting too much. So you've got 2 queen cards and a king card here with the emperor. So it is important to kind of like move things and shake things up a little bit. The tower card is also about stabilizing your habits in your life. Start something new that you like. So again, it could be improving your health, starting meditation practice or yoga, This can also be a necessary move that's going to happen for some of you, a move for the better, or a decision to change up your environment because the tower was in the environment. So some of you are between homes. Maybe you're building a home and you're renting somewhere. Maybe you had to leave your home to save money and you're living with parents or family. Maybe you just moved in or you're just moving out. But I see movement happening in the living situation because of the placement of this card. Some of you need to clean around you too with the tower. So do something to steady or clear out your environment because there's something about it that's either clouded or is not stable. So if you understand what that means for you, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay because I saw the Three of Wands in the opportunity space. But for the here and now, whatever you can do to clear it out, again, it could just be a nice cleaning if you're feeling good about your place. Sometimes I can see that there's a mess when that card is there. Okay. All right. There you go. Ultimately, one last thing is don't ignore something if it's coming into your life. If you feel something's wrong, go get it checked out. Sometimes we can't figure, you might have to get a couple points of view, a couple different opinions on that as well. So talk it out, ask the questions that you need to ask, and don't ignore something that's going on. I do feel like you're able to start a new positive habit. So I think that's the key thing. All right. Also, because of what we're seeing here, I do feel like some of you could have a Kundalini awakening. You could be feeling this sort of energetic uptick of energy. So with that, it's important, again, to have a meditation practice to learn how the energy flows, to learn how to breathe if you're having some sort of an awakening as well. All right, let's look at wealth. We have reach out. This is asking for help. This is knowing that you don't have to do anything alone, especially with respect to if you want a mentorship or something like that in your life as well, because of the skill energy that was associated with Hephaestus. Like I said, it could be going to school, getting some sort of a training or just enrichment in your life, and that would be great. This can also be talking to a psychologist or a psychiatrist if you need to. It's going to be all right because we have the lovers here at the center. There is love and support, even if it isn't directly in your actual family. It might be friendship, chosen family, or there's a great person that you can lean on that's going to help you out. So let's look a little bit more at wealth. I would say changes are happening right now around what you do for a living, whatever it might be, whether you're self-employed or working in a company. You need to keep changing things up and keep moving with the energy of that change. That's the only way for you to grow. So what worked before won't always work and probably won't work again. So change is the answer. Change is the necessary piece. There is unknown in the future, but when we look at near future and possibilities, we have Two of Wands and Three of Wands. So the future is always a little foggy. There's always things moving. And why not go with the possibilities of it rather than the what could go wrong sort of energy? So maybe this can happen. Maybe this is possible, not, oh my God, what if this happens? So change it up, change up the script, and I think things will be good if you do that. You may be looking for more entrepreneurial type opportunities with the Emperor card in your ego, leaning on yourself, trusting yourself a little bit. Okay. Let's look at love and relationships. We have a message here about joy. It says, write on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. I like that. That's a quote from Emerson. And I haven't really heard of tick seed, or I guess it's coreopsis. Anyway, it's this beautiful little daisy, it looks like. So staying in a joyful state is important. We're using a floral totem here for your relationship energy. So do you feel that sense of joy, or are you overjoyed? This card is reversed. If you're feeling a lack of joy and it's in your key friendship, your key family relationships, or your relationship in your life that matters the most, what are you going to do to help with that? Because we see the tower, it's time to rebuild. We see that you could actually make some positive progress with that. So there's a choice for those of you that are in a relationship. Let's talk about it in the three different areas that I like to look at it. In relationship, looking for a relationship, or not focused on relationships. So if you're looking for love, it's a good month to do that. I mean, well, let's start with in love, because I said I was going to do that. If you're in an existing relationship, we see the Queen of Wands at the center, you. We see the Lover's card, and we see the Queen of Swords. One thing that would be nice for the other partner is if you could tell them what you feel or think. It may be something that you want to. One partner or the other partner is kind of better at saying what's on their mind. So you shouldn't have to pull tarot cards to read your partner, and they shouldn't have to do the same. So say what you feel, say what you think, and get it out there on the table and see, and then say, how do you feel about this? Or I'd like to look more at this. What do you think? Be honest with them, be expressive with them. I think that's going to be really key. There's some changes going on, a lot of changes going on actually, because we've got the Elephant, the Fool, and the Tower cards, all of them sort of growth and movement. So making peace with ambiguity, making peace with the energy of change, knowing that sometimes it brings out the best in your partner, sometimes it brings out the worst. Just try to be supportive and try to be there for one another. I think that's the key thing. As long as you can talk it out, the Queen of Swords is telling me you can make it work. But there's changes that have to happen. Now, some of you are not feeling seen and heard, and that piece has to be fixed. Because if it doesn't, then the Tower wins out, and you move on. You go into greener pastures. So I think the key thing here is communication and visibility and empathy has to really be worked on in the relationship. But we have the Lovers at the center. So if you can bring it back to things that are fun, things that you can agree with, and then also things that you want to collectively work on because you love each other, going back to why you fell in love and why you want to keep that relationship, that's going to be key. Has to all come back to love, not just critical elements. If you're looking for love this month, you may sort of feel like you're walking in the fog and where is that person? But we have the energy here showing that something positive could come out of that. Now, patience might be a piece of this though, because we see two or three things that are holding you back from finding the person. One, it feels like your living situation could be part of this. So one thing that you can do in your own house if you're looking to bring a partner in before you've met them is to create space, clean out a closet, clean out a drawer. Imagine that someone will one day be able to share that drawer, share that closet. Clean your house too, so that it's inviting when people come in. The other thing is to clean up your life, clean up aspects of your life. How do your finances look? How's your health? What is in your life kind of like chaotic right now, and how can you bring that into a nice, cool and steady water? That's what we're looking for here. So bring your life into a nice, kind of like nice focus, feel like everything's calm waters, and I feel like that person will come in as well. But there has to be a little bit of mopping up and a little bit of cleaning right now, okay? The other thing that I see here is that you want to kind of look for the unexpected. With the Eight of Swords, sometimes we're not looking in the right place, or we're not open to, a person that might kind of be different than what we expect. So just keep an open mind. If you're not looking for love this month, then I don't blame you, because there's a lot of other stuff going on. It feels like this is really a month of beginning new things, starting one or two different chapters, possibly moving. And I think that what you want to focus on is, again, kind of cleaning up the life and getting things in good order. And I think about 2 to 3 months, you may be more open to focusing more on relationships. So those are the messages for the different sort of statuses that you might be in. Let's go with your Destiny card now, and then we'll do a quick mini review before we go into the soul space. All right. So we have the Ant Spirit here saying time to collaborate. So it is partnership coming through quite a bit. Destiny is something that you create. What I like about the ant is it's a lot stronger than it looks. I've used it as a totem before. And ants can lift several times their weight, right? So you are stronger than you think. You'll be stronger together with someone else for a business partnership, for a friendship. So maybe opening up and figuring out how to kind of allow that to come into your life. But it does say time to collaborate. They're very much a community-based or colony-based energy as well. So ants work in a very hierarchical system. So some of you might be in a place right now where you're trying to figure out, where do I sit in the hierarchy? How can I also organize that? We have the Boss card here at the center with the Queen of Wands. So for some of you, this is figuring out, am I ready to take on that leadership role? And if you are, good, because this is ready for you as well. So I would really tie this up to Queen of Wands, which is people are looking to you. Are you ready to step up to the plate and say, let's do this? But either way, you're stronger than you think, and you'd be even stronger if you can find the right business, friendship, or partnership opportunity as well. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at everything here. The last thing I was thinking, are you like the queen ant or the queen bee? Basically the one that's in charge of everything, because that's what I would see the queen of wands as, is like the queen ant. So this is your chance to really bring some people and bring some action into your life. All right, let's go ahead now and do a quick mini review. Then we're going to move deeper into your energy. At this point, I usually like to write a couple of questions. So let me write a couple of questions that I want to look at. So one thing that I'm not noticing is pentacles, right? We didn't get any pentacles, no resource cards. So I'd like to just take a look at resources for sure. And what do we need to know? Why is there an absence of resources? The other thing that I want to look at is we have so many cards of unknown and change. So the question card, the Fool card, the Tower card, and the Eight of Swords. To me, there's a lot of ambiguity. So I just want to look at kind of like walking into ambiguity and how to best use that. And then I'll pull a wild card. All right. So let's quickly review what we talked about. We'll go a little deeper in just a second. Your spirit totem today is the volcano. Hephaestus and Pele came through as gods and goddesses associated with that fiery energy. But the main thing here is that you can start to create and move things now. It's a good time for that. The majority of the volcanic activity that we see on our own planet happens beneath the surface, actually, and a lot of times along the ocean floors. So know that just like everything in our lives, sometimes we can't see everything that's going on. So emotionally, there's a lot of change that's happening within you. And even just on an energetic level, there's a lot of changes that are going on beneath the surface. There's areas of convergence and divergence where this is happening. In our own lives, we might see people coming in or people going away. We might be falling toward or away from something. There could be moments of increased sort of inspiration, like the hotspots that create the Hawaiian Islands. So your energy is going to be in one of these movement places, falling away, butting up against you, or there'll be like these bursts. And it's sort of like, how do I manage all of these energetic shifts in my life? Fire and water play a really big part in this sort of vision that I was seeing. So for you, there is this sort of creative and destructive or opposing forces that ironically really kind of work together. That's how, when I look at Hawaii, that's how that was formed. Or when we even look at, again, when the plates butt up against each other, then we see something like the Himalayas. So sometimes this really volatile energy, which we got here, volatility, can actually be very creative. So how can you channel this in a way that's going to be effective, I guess would be the question. Hephaestus was what came to me when I was thinking about this, because he's the forger, the iron forger, the metal worker. So what he would kind of tell us is to create a new path, to take the tools in front of us. And I wrote this a little bit later, but to do something better with it. We talked a little bit about him and that he was an interesting deity because, of course, because like Athena, he's really smart and he passed those skills on to others. So some of you may be inspired to do that. Also, you could even be thinking of a hobby if you're retired or something else that you want to spend your time with. It doesn't necessarily have to be going to school. Eight of Pentacles is just expansion of mind and knowledge. Even though this guy was super smart, he was cast out from Mount Olympus because of the way he looked, because people didn't understand him. He got his revenge by returning later, but what we want to see here is a way that we can maybe just be our own person and not take on the energy of rejection so harshly. Rejection can be protection. Some of you may need to focus on a boss, a mentor, a mother in your life where there's that healing energy. Empress reverse basically is what I saw. Reclaiming your power. And we got the Emperor right here. So I think it's a great time about that. The divine feminine energy is coming through in the form of Pele, who is the divine energy of creation, of passion, of healing, and creation and destruction. I see a question about love. The whole reading is about you and how you can create love in your life. So just hold on. It's actually here in the expanded forecast. But as we're talking about Pele, you actually have everything that you desire. There's a cool Tori Amos album called Boys for Pele. And she wrote the album because she was trying to find fire in other people. So your question reminds me of that. She realized she had the fire within. So you already have that which you seek. Love is within. Like death, Pele is an agent of transformation. She can give, she can take. She's also the Fool because when people see her, she can be an old woman or a young child walking with a dog. Hello, it's the Fool card, right? You're supposed to be channeling your passion this month. It doesn't have to be in a love relationship, even though we've got the lovers here. It can be in something that you really appreciate. Passion is not just sex. Passion is multifaceted. Control your emotions, use them in a way that can benefit you. Take steps towards your goals. Calculated risks are okay. Risks are going to be a part of the equation because we have the question card and the 8 of Swords here. Let's look at the next piece. Use what you've been given and make something better. This was Hephaestus coming through and saying, hey, I may not have gotten a fair shake there, but I'm going to show you. And he did. So there you go. Pick a direction. It's okay to make a U-turn if you need to, but the most important thing is at some point you're going to have to know where you're going. Exploration is fine, but grounding yourself in purpose is going to be super important this month as well. Plant some roots once you've figured that out and really decide where it is that you want to be, and things are going to end up in a good place. If you've never been asked this question, maybe since you're a kid, then I'm positioning it again. What does your heart desire? What are your dreams, hopes, and ambitions? And I would also say you have to allow them to surface, or they're going to find a way to express themselves. So in key relationships, if your partner, if your parents, if your friends don't let you be who you want to be, then you're going to blow up. And from the volcano and the tower comes the 10 of Swords at some point too. So let's channel it and keep the Queen of Swords energy and stay controlled there. Time to reboot, time to put a new program in, just like we were talking about the Matrix. Speak your intention into existence. If someone around you asked you to make a wish, what would that be? Like a mantra, you want to repeat that and make it a reality by taking some steps towards that. Your heart matters this month more than anything. And this is the place where the most balance and growth can happen. That's why we have this wholeness card with the heart chakra and the heart colors all around it. A little bit of the solar plexus around this too, but yellow is already part of green. So that's kind of why you've got to have that relationship. That personal power and the heart power is coming through. So I would focus on chakras 3 and 4 quite a bit this month. We have the Queen of Wands at the center. She's the boss and you're the boss. We have the lovers on top of it. So to the person asking about love, it's all throughout this reading. I don't read just through the lens of love, because if we do that, then we don't see you. And the most important thing in this is really you and how you're affecting those around you. So the Lovers card is touching 3 different cards here. The unknown, the boss, the sort of expressive, demonstrative energy, and this idea of here's where we can go. There's hope. I see you in my future. If I do a relationship read and I get the 2 of Wands, it's quite good. It means the person is looking forward to something more. They're looking into the relationship with you. So take a look at your relationships. Is this everything that you thought it would be? Is there something more that you want? Are you questioning things? This to me is a lot like the 3 of Cups. It's a question of, is this enough for me? New beginnings, unknown, unknown. That's something you're going to have to navigate this month. In existing relationships, demonstrative, communicative. So there are 2 different ways of being, finding the middle ground for that, showing and telling. Both sides are going to have to find a way to kind of meet the other person. In your own life, this is also walking the walk and talking the talk, making sure that the 2 are together. You can't just say you're going to do something without doing something. If you do something without communicating it, it can make people question what the heck is going on. So communication is verbal and nonverbal, and that's something, this is why it's good to stick around for this part, because I go a little deeper into the spread because we've just walked through it. So that's an important piece that we missed earlier. 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, idea and fruition, thinking and dreaming and then doing and seeing and getting a return on that. But a little messy right now in the midst of all of that. The Tower reverse is saying, it doesn't always look clean and tidy. You've got to kind of move through the change, and changes are messy. Changes require patience. For some of you, there is also a need to clean up your life, clean up your environment, just to clear things out. The Tower is a cleansing agent. I talked about the lemon yesterday. The lemon is a lot like the Tower, which basically comes in and cleans out things that don't need to be there. Your power is there. Own it. Lean into it. Trust yourself. Things are headed in a good direction 2 to 3 months from now. In the meantime, there's a little bit of ambiguity, and there's a little bit of uncertainty here. But you want to kind of lean into that. My moderator asked me a question here. I always read Western astrology. But as I said at the beginning, I know people join at different points. Just relax and enjoy the messages. Sometimes we're focusing too much on where it falls in our chart. You're here for a reason. relax, enjoy, and receive. It's probably you showed up for the right sign. But you can watch both your Western and your Eastern astrology, and kind of it might fall somewhere between the two, okay? But everybody that's here today is here for a reason, so just enjoy it. You're getting some good messages, and it's for you because you're here, is my answer. All right, we have a volatility card here in the Volcano, which is also part of the health card, and health is needing to come into a little bit more of balance this month. There might be something you need to express or release as well. Okay, so if something has built up, find a way to get it out. It could be through, by the way, dancing is such a great exercise if your body allows you to do that. Singing is a great way to get this out. Hey, if you have to scream, roll the windows down in your car and scream, whatever. You can laugh, you can scream, you can cry, you can dance, you can write, you can build a house. I don't care what you do, but basically you should be doing something with your hands, your body, or your voice. Get it out. Get it out. Breathing is great. Breath of fire for my Kundalini yoga people out there. This is a really good thing that you could work on as well, okay? You can look it up. It's basically rapid inhalation and exhalation of the solar plexus, which is going to help you push the energy out. You can do Sat Kriya as well, which will help you pull the sort of energy out from the core up through the higher chakras. All of those things are good. Other things with the health, it just feels like there is a need for you to focus on starting something new, starting a new path. You might be a little bored. There might be some stagnation. So all of these things are bringing you on that new path. Wherever it is, I feel like you're headed in a better direction with the 2 and 3 of Wands. For relationships, talk to the other person, reach out. This is a demonstrative card, so sometimes you just need, this could be the personal touch too. So we miss that after a year of being masked and distanced. So for some of you, maybe it is just about getting a little bit closer to someone that you can be around now if you're in a country where the viral load is under control, because it kind of depends from country to country right now how COVID-19 is working. So, but if you are in a place where you can be close to someone, maybe that's something you're looking for. But in a sort of a more generic way of looking at reaching out, I think it's about either talking to or being with someone and just holding some space, right? You don't have to go at this alone. And in fact, your Destiny card was about collaboration and the power of collaboration. Looking at, and this is in wealth. So the interesting thing with this is if you need help with your finances, if you're looking for a job, if you just feel like I can't do this, there's probably someone around you that can help you out with this. So I feel there's a little bit of overlap between relationships, love relationships, friend relationships, and work. Together you are stronger. And that's something that we've seen a few times here. We have 3 partnership cards. In relationships, joy is important. If you're with someone who has a hard time seeing the positive side of things, or is negative, or makes you feel the lack of joy in your life, then this is something that has to be fixed. This is very much like the 9 of Cups because it's a joy card in reverse. And we have this volatile card here. So this is also about not going to extremes. There could be someone in your life that's just really hard to predict, or may even be struggling with something like bipolar disorder. So whatever's going on with that, finding a little bit of evenness with the emotions is going to be really key in your life. The other thing that I saw here, 2 evenly matched people, the 2 queens, but 2 very different ways of acting and communicating. So finding a way to meet in the middle is going to be key. The other thing with love, like I said, is comfort with ambiguity and looking towards what's possible, making some plans together. If there's someone in your life that you're with. If you're looking for love, clean up your life. I see someone coming in a couple of months, but it feels like their energy is ready, but you're not ready yet. So the sooner you are ready, the sooner this person can come in. But there's a lot of sort of like waiting for you to get it together. The other thing is you could just randomly run into this person. I don't feel like this is someone that you have to find on an app or anything like that. I feel like that when you're ready, that the synchronicity will open up. If you're not looking for love, again, the message is focusing on what's possible, fixing your life, getting things sorted. And then we have this collaboration card. And the collaboration could also be one of the answers to the resource question that I had, which is why don't I see resources? You may be needing to ask for help. So if you're starting a business, you may need a small business loan. If you're trying to find a new apartment, maybe you need a roommate. If you're having a hard time at work, ask for the training and support that you need. Sometimes we're thrown into a task without that proper training. I think back to when I was in like high school and I had to start a job as a waiter. I worked my way up. I was like a bus person, then I was a waiter, then I was a host, and I did like catering and all that. But the waiter part was hard because there was all these new things. The tables were numbered certain things, and like figuring out how the system worked and all of that. I needed to shadow a couple of people for a couple of shifts before I got it. So I asked for help. I'm like, no, I'm not ready yet. I need to do this one more time because there's a lot of moving pieces. So ask for the help that you need. You might need that extra piece of training. Okay. Let's go into your soul path. Let's go into some deeper questions. I want to look at the resources. Why don't we see any pentacle cards? What's going on with that? So let's look at money, time, resources, and energy. Any messages that want to come in on that? Ace of Pentacles. All right. Thank you, universe. And it shows a door opening. So literally it's saying, don't worry, there's something coming through. But with this door, it's saying you may need to be the one that goes for it, that opens it up. Now, for those of you looking for work, this is frustrating because you might be telling me, hey, I've sent out like 100 resumes. The other thing that you might want to do is think about opening up a pathway that doesn't exist, trying opening a door that hasn't, or knocking on a door that hasn't been something that you would think about. So repackaging your skills, thinking of yourself in a different light, starting your own business if resources allow for that. This is really about making a door if one doesn't exist, carving a new path for yourself, and opening up yourself. No one's there opening it up for you. So you might have to do it yourself, okay? Also, it's a reminder for many of you that feel like you're hanging on to something because it's the only way. It's saying, why not just look and see what else is out there? Take a peek, do some research. There's more. Okay, so I'm getting a clarification that think of the unexpected, try something different, repackage, maybe do it on your own. It's not necessarily, this is one of the few aces, there's no hand handing it to you. You've got to go and grab it. You've got to create it. We're going back into the energy of like Hephaestus, right? You're going to forge something that doesn't exist, create the portal, okay? Really cool. So this Ace of Pentacles is a doorway. Open one up, create one. Let's go into ambiguity because we have tiny elephants, aka the question mark card. We have the Fool and we have the Eight of Swords. So just that card just flew off. So how can you make peace with ambiguity in your life? Queen of Cups reverse. I'm glad we got another queen. And this is the receptive energy that we're looking for. So making peace with the unknown. Let me just pull this card up so I can reference it. Part of that would be knowing that I am ready and willing to receive something new, something better, something different. Because the Queen of Cups is just like that. This particular Queen of Cups is almost like Old Faithful in Yellowstone, right? That geyser pushing through, which is a little bit kind of like this volcano energy. So for some of you, if you're not getting what you want, again, I get this sort of push for you to just put it out there anyway, to say it. If this could be love, this could be a job, this could be an idea, and you're waiting for someone else to say it, you should say it. So if you can't receive what you want or what you need, then go out there and seek it. There's a lot of seeking energy coming through for you, Sagittarius, today. So I think that being willing and ready to just kind of like bring that in is going to be key. All right. The other thing here with ambiguity is the emotional component. It's a tough time right now. So we don't want to underestimate the sort of importance, again, because Ganesha came through and said, take care of your heart. So if you're just feeling heavy emotionally, like, I don't know how to sort this out, what am I supposed to do with this? Then what do we see here? Ask for help, collaborate. First of all, you're stronger than you think, but you'll be stronger with the help of someone else. So lean on somebody. And we also saw that here, like the emotional, there's a lot of emotional cards here, right? This one is someone that's kind of not quite feeling themselves. This is that emotional energy outbursting. This is kind of like a geyser, not so much a typical chalice that I would normally see with like a Queen of Cups. So I think find a way to, again, express the emotional state. It's okay to feel uncertain. We all feel that from time to time. It's okay to not know. You're going to figure this out. You're going to find a way. And you're going to do that probably with the aid of someone else. So I'm encouraging you to talk to someone, a psychologist, a friend, a partner, a business partner. Get the advice that you need. Based on the Ace of Pentacles, I feel like, and the Two of Wands and Three of Wands, I think things are okay. I'm just validating your feelings. It's all right to feel however you feel. What are you going to do about the way that you feel? All right, let's just pull a wild card. We'll meditate, and then I'll answer your silent question for me. So for the wild card, it's whatever I've missed or whatever else we need to be focusing on. Okay, we've got the Three of Swords, but like the Ten of Swords, I see this as kind of like a full stop. We got the Three of Swords yesterday also, FYI. When I see this one, I see the winds of change blowing. So we have like an elk, we see the three swords in its back, and then we see the winds of change. So whatever left you in your life, it's for the better, and the universe was trying to push that energy out. Sometimes we wait too long, and then it comes in a way that we don't like. So this can be a breakup. It can be, again, being made redundant or being laid off. It can be just sort of like being pushed out. And that's kind of what this card was doing, pushing you out. That's kind of what this energy wants to do, push you out. And then the rest of the energy that we're seeing is to kind of be supported or lifted up. So I would rather you go into the lifted up energy than the than this jettison stuff. So if you can kind of get into that metaphorical car that I saw you and pick a direction and go on your own volition, all this becomes a lot easier. So some of you are staying too long somewhere, and you're not going to be allowed to stay there energetically in the long term. So take action now to make the change happen, the separation happen, the movement happen in your life, and it's going to be better for you. Okay, let's do a mini review of the soul space cards, and then I'll pull a final card based on whatever personal questions you have in your mind and in your heart. So for those of you wondering, like, when are my resources coming in? When's my gravy train coming in? This card is saying you've got to go and open your own door. There is no hand that's bringing this ace to you. You'll create it, but there is a great opportunity awaiting your hard work. Okay. And then we have a release that needs to happen emotionally, and it's time for you to receive. You've done a lot of giving. Now you can do a little bit of receiving. And if something is leaving, has left, or you need to release it in your life, good. It's the wind of change coming in, the winds of change rather, bringing in something bigger, something better, and helping you get past this. It's just one little moment in your life that's going to one day be something that you can look back on and appreciate or understand. Okay? Let's go ahead now and do a quick meditation, and then I'm going to answer your final question. The way that my final question works is all you have to do is think it. Think it. I don't do like 3 decks and you have to pick one. Just think it and I'll pull a card. Before I get into that, we've got a lot of great folks here today. If you haven't hit the thumbs up one time yet, do it. You can only hit it once, so don't hit it twice or you unlike it. But I see about 545. It'd be great if we can get a couple more likes. It helps with discoverability on this channel. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. It will remind you then when new videos are there, because you can log into your YouTube and it'll be on the homepage. If you want to get a notification, hit the bell. That way it'll come up on your phone, or you might even get an email. So that's how that works. Also, if you'd like some reminders of when I show up and you want to follow me on social media, I'd love to see you. I'm on all the major social media platforms. My username is usually just @NicholasAshbaugh, no spaces before or after. I will actually post all the cards that I wrote on Instagram, Facebook, and on the community channel here. I also do subtweets on Twitter. It's a slightly different handle there in Ashbaugh, but that's how you can find me. Maria posted the link there, so there's different ways that you can connect with me. It's also, you can see it up there in the pinned link at the top as well. All right, let's go ahead and meditate, and then I'll talk about some other ways that you can give back, but let's focus on your messages first. For this, I want to work with, I want to imagine that it's sort of the energy of a cooling volcano, like the ocean meeting the lava, and this sort of cooling energy and the solidification. So if you've ever seen a picture of like the Hawaiian Islands, that sort of energy of once everything's cooling off and the steam. And let's imagine that you're Pele, you're the fool, and you're walking onto that new journey and where that portal is going to lead you. Maybe you could imagine that you're walking through the gateway that we saw, the gateway that we saw here in the Ace of Pentacles. So I see all that fiery energy. Let's imagine that you're walking through to the new beginning here. You're walking away from the volcano. Things have cooled down. This is where you're headed. So let's do that meditation, and then I'll pull a final card for you. Any question that you might have about love, money, or life in general, hold that in your mind and your soul while we're meditating, and then I will pull a card afterwards. So close your eyes. We'll be meditating for about 1 to 2 minutes. It's brief, but it's important because it helps us calm down and integrate all the lessons from today. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, neck, and back. If you want to, you can gently roll your head from side to side or in a circle and in both directions. Do that at your own pace and in your own time. And as you're doing that, I want you to imagine that you are sitting on a beach and you're watching the ocean crash against the newly created earth. The volcano lava has found its way towards the shore, and you see the steam and you see everything starting. It's basically an expansive energy. So where there was nothing, there's now something. And you also see that there are parts of the beach that have cooled off that you can walk on, that is stable. And let's imagine that you are going to look at that energy of creation, walk to where it's safe, and see that there's this beautiful archway and there's a door and it's inviting you to step through it. So the energy of Pele and Hephaestus is behind you, creating, kind of lifting you energetically toward this new portal. I want you to imagine and breathe life into what's going to be on the other side of the door. Is it love? Is it opportunity? Is it confidence? And as you take each breath, as we play the singing bowl here in a moment, I want you to imagine that you're stepping through that door, reaching out, and that there is a hand on the other side that's going to help you and pull you toward your future. All right? Close your eyes and allow for the energy of fire and water to help you move towards this portal. Take one last deep breath. If you haven't already walked through the door, walk through the door. Realize now that paths that were once blocked are now unblocked. Doors that were once locked are now open. Things that were once out of reach are now attainable. No longer are you in that energy of the Empress reverse where someone made you doubt your power. You have the energy of fire, of water, of creation, moving you towards that which you seek. So walk through the door and enjoy all of the abundance that is waiting for you on the other side. If you haven't already opened your eyes, you can open your eyes. I want you to think of your question that you would like me to look at. No need to type it, just think it. I'm going to start to shuffle the cards. Let's take a look at what's coming through for you for this final question. We have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is a really interesting question. There are some that are not a yes/no. The Five of Cups would be sort of like your perspective is really what shapes what's possible. And when we're looking at this really closely, we see he's letting go of a few, or he lost a few. This is a very different Five of Cups. You can see the cups flying towards the water. In a traditional Five of Cups, you would see some spilled and you would be looking at a couple that are still there. I had to look really close, but we can see the two cups that are there. We can see the ones that have spilled or fallen. It's interesting because the story of Hephaestus helps us with this, because he was thrown off Mount Olympus, but he survived and he came back stronger, right? So if something's lost, it's not lost for good, or it's not always lost, or it might transform. So sometimes we have to let something go and then we find a different way to what it was that we were looking for. So whatever you have lost was for a reason, or it is not the end of your story. what we see instead is, why aren't we focusing on this? So I would say for you, there's a reset that's happening, and there's a resourcefulness that's going to help you when we pull back to what we talked about earlier. And there's a perspective shift that needs to happen to enable the eventual yes, because we had the 2 and the 3 of wands. So it's a yes, comma, but ... It looks like perspective could be holding you back. It looks like for some of you, understanding that there is no reclamation of exactly what was, but there could be a creation of something completely different, possibly better, possibly equally as fulfilling. So this is a reshaping and a reimagining that is necessary for the next step. So with a perspective shift, anything's possible. Yes, it's important to understand what happened, what was lost. Maybe there's some frustration on why it's taking so long, but there's something better. There's always something there that you can kind of embrace. 4 of Cups and 5 of Cups are always about, 4 of Cups is a missed blessing sometimes, or not fully kind of realizing how lucky you are. But the 5 of Cups in this one is about dealing with situations that didn't turn out exactly the way we thought. Your story's not over. That's my answer on that, is that you want to keep thinking, keep dreaming, keep pushing, because you still have something worth fighting for here. There's still something cool here, okay? There you go. Beautiful messages for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like I said, please consider hitting the thumbs up once during the video, subscribing if you haven't, sharing this with other people, because you guys help me continue to do what I'm doing. So one of the ways that this channel stays healthy is also by you sharing the video and commenting when it's live. That engagement makes a big difference. Thank you to anybody that gave back today. If you'd like to do that now, you can still do it. This is a newer deck. The Animal Totem deck, the one with the ants, is pretty new as well. And I've been using some new ones over the course of the past couple months as well. So thank you. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can go to my pinned link to find out information about past, present, and future readings. I'm going to be live again on Sunday. Let me give you the dates for my upcoming, it'll take a second here because the program has to open, but I can give you the dates for my upcoming collectives. I always do it on the middle of the month and the end of the month. And then I also have, let's see if I can get these dates and I'll share them with you. Here we go. Here are the next 2 collective readings that will be coming through. We have a bonus one on Friday, June 25th, and another end of month collective on the 27th. If you like stories, obviously I like storytelling and I like myths, and I wrote a book here that's very much akin to like Dune or Lord of the Rings. It's not a short read, it's not an easy read, but if you like my geeking out, then you can check out the Luminous ones. It's available in paperback and hardcover and ebook. Go to my website to find out where and how to get it. And again, you don't have to do that. It's more for my sci-fi fantasy geeks out there. Joining the channel is a great way to show support. And on replay, you can also use the applaud feature. And that's right by the share and the like buttons there. And that is everything. Thank you so much. Again, hope to see you on social media. I'll be back again on Sunday. I'll be reading for what's next, Capricorn. So I look forward to that. And my dates for broadcasting are always Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, Monday. So I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. All of the June readings are already up. I'm reading for July. So we're nearly there. We have about 4 more to do, and they'll be up by the end of this month. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Thanks, Maria, for your help as well. And I'll see you guys on the weekend. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.